Greetings everyone. Welcome to Datagaps webinar. I am Pooja Gupta, Growth Marketing Manager at Datagaps, and I would like to thank you all for joining us today. Before we get started, we have a couple of quick housekeeping comments. First, we have muted all mics to avoid unintended distractions. Second, we have included a couple of polls which will reflect at the middle of the session from time to time. And we would request every attendee to share their feedback by answering those poll questions. And last, if you have any queries, please type them in the Q&A section. We will answer them all at the end of the session. Today, in our product update webinar, we are excited to introduce new updates across integrations, pipelines, configurations, and Agentic AI. From expanded Git and Databricks support to enhanced pipeline testing and security controls. These improvements strengthen reliability and governance. AI-powered mapping enhancements and Excel view support make data engineering faster, smarter, and more efficient. On the panel today, we have Syed Ghazal, Product Manager at Datagaps, and Pradeep Napa, Lead Solution Engineer at Datagaps. And with this, I hand this over to Syed and Pradeep. Hey, Syed and Pradeep, stage is all yours now.
Thank you for that introduction, Pooja. Am I audible?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, appreciate. Hey everyone, greetings of the day. In today's webinar for the Spring 2026, myself, Syed Ghaz, and my colleague Pradeep Napa will cover some of the important topics here. The agenda for today's webinar is something like this. We'll cover the platform updates first. Then we'll cover the product updates. We will showcase some of the major items that are coming in the roadmap for the future. We'll have a dedicated time for question and answer. And you can use the chat as well to post your questions at the same time. So with that, let's get started. As the famous Dalai Lama says, share your knowledge. It's a path towards your immortality, right? So with that, let me share some of the knowledge of what we are done in the past quarter and what is that we are going to deliver in the upcoming release, which is marked as 2026.1.0. So as part of this release, from the platform perspective, here are some of the major items that our customers have asked for and we have delivered. So let's start with a couple of these, right? And I will be covering a couple of slides, and then I'll be showing on the tool some of these major highlights as well. On the integration front, we have done Slack integration. So in addition to email and Teams, which are already existing, we have done Slack. We have done Git multiple repository connections. From the Databricks clusters perspective, we have given the ability to add multiple workspaces. Along with that, the Salesforce Snowflake Fabric, we have enhanced authentication processes to be much more compliant and to make sure that our customers are much more compliant in their respective protocols for Salesforce, Snowflake, and Fabric. In the space of pipelines, we have introduced a new feature known as Table Test Plan, an ability to convert dependency to no dependency pipelines. And we have enhanced our HTML report output for the pipeline results. Now coming to configurations, security password settings have been incorporated. The post-upgrade validation checks have been introduced, and the proxy global configurations have been introduced at a global level. From the agentic world, in this current era of AI, We have delivered a lot of features, and some of the main highlights that we will be showcasing in today's webinar are the ability to provide a driving table and global filter criteria in the mapping manager, the ability to give you a lineage view at a table level, the ability to generate mapping manager and create the transformation checks and the data quality rules, which is an enhancement from our previous releases, is the ability to have multiple ETL document formats support. So not just your typical SQL or Excel, now we have enhanced it to further document types as well. What are all of these details? Well, stay tuned and we will cover during this webinar. So let's go on the ride. Starting with integrations, majority of our customers have come back and said, hey, I'm glad you're having Teams and email, but my enterprise uses Slack. Do you have any Slack integration? So to fulfill that requirement, I'm happy to announce that starting the release of 2026.1.0, we have enabled the Slack integration. Now with this, any real-time updates that you need from the pipelines or from the monitoring perspective, you want to know if your pipeline is running on time, if your jobs have completed, failed, you can get those notifications and send it to your respective teams or to respective individuals through on Slack through the tool. This would help improve the overall responsiveness to your any particular pass or fail jobs. It will help you in faster response to your incidents and better collaboration among your team members. I'm sure you'll all benefit from this particular integration. So if your enterprise is using Slack, do use this particular feature. Moving on to the next one, which is the Git integration here. In the past, we have supported one repository in the Git, and multiple users have come and said, across, not just across various containers, but given within one container as well, we have multiple users who log in through different repositories of the Git, and we would like to have the mapping associated to it. So with that, we are providing a Git integration here, wherein you can associate multiple repository connections. And in the branch mapping tab of it, you can associate a particular container to a given Git. So whether your provider is GitHub, GitLab, Azure DevOps, you can configure all. If your enterprise is using more than one provider, yes, you can utilize this particular configuration here. So what is that we are trying to solve here, right? So this will give an enterprise, a big enterprise as our customers are, an enhanced development flexibility. If you have, it increases the capability to store your definitions of your Datagaps tool in your Git integration, which will help you maintain consistent version and workflow management. I'm sure you will all enjoy this particular feature. Next, from the Databricks clusters perspective, we wanted to enhance the workspace that are associated to the Databricks. Not only have we given the ability now to add more than one workspace here and configure it, but at the same time, we have improved the authentication process for PAT. for OAuth as well. Right? And we have also, since we are a partnered with Databricks, you can use this facility to configure your clusters. This will help you achieve cleaner access control over your Databricks workspaces. Okay. Moving on to the data fabrics, Snowflake, and Salesforce authentication. We have enhanced the authentication type to be much more industry secure compliant, and to ensure that each one of our customers are compliant in their own aspects. So we have eliminated the password based accesses, and we have ensured that the password vaults are also enabled for these authentication types. Moving on, we have introduced a brand new feature known as table test plan. Now, what does it do? Well, when you have important tables within your organization and you wish to manage all the various data validations as well as the data rules that are executing on this particular table, and you want to control and have a view of all of them centralized at a table level, well, this is the feature for you. Majority of our customers were requesting that the mapping manager components, the transformations, and the data rules that get created, how do we manage that centrally? The answer, table test plan. Through this, you will be able to execute all your workflows and all your rules which are at this particular table level through one given pipeline. So table test plan is a pipeline where you can execute all of these. More details will be showed as when I demo it on the particular tool. Going forward, as you all know and as you are all aware, starting 5.0 we have introduced this feature of no dependency pipe. 4.0 we have introduced this feature of no dependency pipeline. So if you have any dependency pipelines which you feel you are not dependent or are independent of any particular task and you want to run them parallelly, then you can go ahead and use the no dependency pipeline. And you can use this conversion feature to convert with ease your dependency pipeline into the no dependency tasks. Give it a shot. As spoken earlier, we are able to represent the HTML pipeline reports in a much more user-friendly manner. From the configurations perspective, the customers who have been here with us for long would know that within our thick client, we used to provide something of a password settings feature where you can configure what kind of password settings your users can utilize when they come on this particular tool. Right? So whether you want your minimum password length to be 8, how many special characters you wish your users to be using while logging in, and how do you protect your user login for your customers, all can be configured using this global password settings page. So do inform your admin that this brand new feature is available for you enterprise to use it. Now, in majority of the cases, when the system undergoes an upgrade, and say you're updating yourself, like after this 2026 1.0 release that we're planning in the weekend of February, last week of February, we wanted to make the ease of your admin team have the ability to understand how are some of the main features available or responding after the upgrade. So you can utilize this post-upgrade validations where on click of a button, checks would run and they would update you how your database is behaving, how your services are made available, and whether your engines are up, whether your data ops queue is available, and how your query builder is. So these are some of the mandatory checks that are upcoming in the current release, in the upcoming release. So with this, not only where your service failures, your mismatches, your configuration errors can be available in one go, you will also have the ability to configure the details so that everything can be done from the directly from the UI perspective. With that, let me move on to the next one, proxy details. To ensure data security of your infrastructure, we have introduced proxy details at a global level. So you configure it once, and then you can utilize these proxy configurations in your data sources. You can utilize this in your clusters, in your Jira, in your Git integrations as well. This will ensure that your network is secured and your the access to the particular tool is through the proxy. Let me move on to the last aspect of the platform updates, and then we'll move on to the tool to showcase all of these features. With the continuous effort we are putting towards Mapping Manager, some of the latest advancements that we have made using the Agentic AI is to ensure that when we are using the Mapping Manager, the user has the ability to provide controls or prompts to identify which is the driver table, what kind of global filter condition you would like to see. Along with this, you are able to see the lineage view being represented on the source page itself. Now, this improves the transparency and helps in the transformation checks and the data quality rules by looking at the by identifying the driving table and the filter conditions to be used globally. One of the other major enhancement, as I was as indicated earlier previously, is that the file formats that now we support, apart from Excel and SQL, is docx, JSON files, text formats, CSV, etc. Right? So do utilize this and definitely share us feedback of how you felt the Mapping Manager feature is helping you centralize all your mapping managers across the enterprise and ensuring that we are giving a centralized platform for managing your mapping manager, and at the same time ensuring that your automation is working absolutely fine from the STTM document all the way to your execution of your test cases. Last but not the least, on Agentic AI, we have introduced a spreadsheet kind of model for viewing purposes under the mapping, wherein people who are very comfortable with STTM documents can configure it directly in the Excel. So with that, before I move to the product updates, let us go to the tool directly and look at some of these features. Okay. Let's do that. So I am on the tool here right now, and let's start by looking at the table test plan. Or in fact, let us cover the AI, then I'll tell you how table test plan can be associated with. So I've gone to the mapping manager. So I'm taking this particular mapping here, and I go back to the source. Now With the ease that we have provided from the UI, you can easily move across the various tabs here, unlike the previous release. Now you can move by clicking on the tabs. With that, I am on the source here, and you can see that the lineage view is being represented here. We have a driving table along with a global filter condition made available here. Right? So utilize this to ensure that and give the AI the capability to refine the queries much better and to make sure that the accuracy of your end transformations and the data roles is intact. AI does take into consideration all of that, but the user prompt here also would help. Along with that, coming to the mapping, here you have two views. This is what we refer to as the spreadsheet view or the Excel view. Here you can utilize and drag and drop the various sources, and in the transformation types you can use whatever transformations you feel. So instead of, say, you would like to enter your STTM document directly through the spreadsheet into the tool, you can very well do that. You can just Control C and Control V your STTM document into the spreadsheet module here. So the ease of which now you can utilize a mapping manager is increased tenfold. Then you have the transformations and the data quality checks associated. Now, if you feel you want to provide some other file, not the traditional Excel or the SQL files, then you can click on the change file and introduce any particular file that you wish to import here. It could be in the form of JSON, docx, txt, anything. So as AI advances, so does our tool as well. Now, you might say, okay, now that the transformation checks and the data quality rules are created, how do I ensure that all are being tracked and can get executed? Right. So with that, let us look at how we can centralize that purchase staging using the table test plan. So I go to the pipelines, right? I create a new pipeline, the table test plan. I choose it. I call it webinar. Here. I do a save. And then I go ahead and look at the data model that I want to get at. Purchase staging is the table that I wish to add. And when I do the save, I get all of the mapping managers and all the data flows and the data quality rules associated with it. So it's that simple. Now on this particular page, you would have the data quality rules, the data profiles, and all the ability to execute and run them and monitor them as well, along with the results. Isn't this a great feature? So I'm sure all of you are going to use this, but do keep me posted as to how you like this particular feature, right? And we would love to have your feedback on this particular feature. With that, let us move on to the next aspect of our presentation here, which is the product updates. In the product updates, we have mainly the ETL and the BI validators along with the data quality. In the ETL validator, we have data source cross-source component, data flow log functionality, the data compare and multi-data compare for single value comparisons. For those who are using only our ETL validator product, for them we have introduced a RAG option in the data source data model. The ability to have a automated delimiter has been introduced. and a metrics component to support datasets as a source itself. Coming to the BI validator, the advancements that we have made for the report test plan to support Tableau, the DAX functionality enhancement, the Power BI enhancements will be covered by my colleague Pradeep in the later half. Coming to data quality, the exclusion of ignoring the bad records from the overall data quality score was a must ask from majority of our customers. And that's exactly what we have promised and we have delivered on it. Let's look at some of these features in detail. Cross-source component. Majority of the customers who are in either the healthcare, insurance, banking domains have this constant issue of regularization with respect to SOX compliance. Now, how does an enterprise which is moving data across multiple databases, across multiple layers, ensure that their data is compliant? We have introduced the reconciliation aspect here known as a cross-source component, through which three or more datasets and their measures across these datasets is compared and the results are displayed. So with this, all you have to do is show those results to the auditors and ensure that your data is SOX compliant. Now, I have created a data flow. How do I ensure that it is not altered by anyone else? Simple. Keep a lock on it. So the moment you click on the lock on it, other folks, including the admin, can execute your workflows but cannot alter it. To alter it, you'll have to specifically unlock it or the admin has to unlock it. This provides greater governance and stability to your data flows from getting altered. Now, the data compare or the metric data compare. What if you are comparing only single data sets? In such a case, instead of showing you complicated result page, it has been simplified to keep it simple and just show you the components or the single value that is being represented in one single page. This has been an ask of multiple users. As I indicated, RAG has been introduced at a data source level so that improved accuracy is achieved. The table structures is understood by the AI and better context is given when you are using the AI assistant in your JDBC components or in your code components in the data flows. The delimiter option for your files has also been in the upcoming release introduced. So delimiters, whether pipe, comma, etc., all can be used and your data can be departitioned using these delimiters. Okay. Um, with that, let me move on to the tool and walk us through the cross-source component. I go to the data flows. My network is up here. Just give me a minute. Let me ensure that my network is up and running. Okay, I am up. Well, this is meant to happen during webinars, isn't it? Okay. Well, this is surprising. Well, nonetheless, let me get back to you on this particular feature. Okay. In the meanwhile, let me pass it on to my colleague Pradeep and see if we can continue with the BI validator. In the meanwhile, I'll try to ensure that my network is up and running correctly and that I'm able to get the data flows here. Let me just put up on it for a minute or two here and see if it helps resolve that. Okay. Pradeep,
Yeah,
if you're ready, I would stop
yeah.
sharing and you can start with the BI.
Let me share my screen. Okay. Thank you, Syed. Hello, everyone. So this is Pradeep Napa. So today I'll be walking you through the latest BI features in this session. So first, let me start with the Tableau test plan. Right. See, in our last release, we introduced the report test plan for Power BI, enabling centralized validation and monitoring of Power BI reports. So in this release, so we have extended the same powerful capability to Tableau. So let me briefly explain so why we build this capability. So we created a report test plan to provide a single centralized place where all Tableau reports and data flow validation details are available in one view. And this allows a technical team to deep dive into a report and connected data flow execution details and, and a higher management to quickly see the overall the health and the status of the report, right? Without needing a technical knowledge. So additionally, the test plan makes it easy to schedule and automate the validation, ensuring the Tableau reports are always tested and ready. Okay. Okay. So we'll go to the next one. Okay. So on the AI, on the DAX component, right? Building a complex DAX query on the schematic model is extremely powerful, but it's also a time-consuming process. Right? As a model grows, user struggles with a correct DAX syntax, selecting the right column across the multiple related tables, right? And keeping the query performant. So even like experienced users spend a significant amount of time so validating the logic and fixing the errors and tuning the performance. So this is exactly the gap the DataOps Suite addresses, which AI assisted DAX experience. So the DAX component works directly on the garnet schematic model, eliminating the need for a data export. Okay, so these AI assistants understood the model structure and helps generate a clean structured DAX while automatically suggesting the correct table and columns and relationship. So we'll quickly go to the demo where I will see that how it happens, right? Okay. So what you are looking at here is the a DAX component inside the DataOps Suite. So this component connects directly to the model, schematic model. Here you can see it. So this is the report and this is the model, one of the table inside it. See, there is no need to recreate the data set or export the data. On the other hand side, here, so you can see the model schemas, right? So including the tables, the columns, helps users to understand what's available without switching the tools. Okay. For example, when I ask for a product name for a max sales amount, right? So the AI automatically identifies the correct table and the columns from the model and builds a DAX for me. So this ensure the users gets the accurate trusted results while dramatically reducing the efforts required to write the DAX. Right? I think this is very helpful. Who are struggling to write the DAX queries? We'll go back to the slide. Okay. So this slide, it talks about the CI/CD, a Power BI deployment process, which is in an automated way. Most Power BI deployments today are still a manual with reports moved across the environments, so without a strong version control or validations. A small untracked change can easily break a production, and teams struggle to identify what changed or roll it back it safely. Right? So with our CI/CD pipeline for Power BI, every change is version control, automatically validated and deployed only after approval. So this results faster releases, fewer production issues. It truly a DevOps discipline for a Power BI. Right? So let me explain the CI/CD workflow using this diagram. So this is a simple, a structured flow designed to make a Power BI deployment reliable and easy to understand. So the process starts on the local machine with the Power BI desktop. The developer creates or enhances the report and save it as a PBIP project, which convert that report into a structured folder format. So once the deployment is complete, the report is manually published to the UAT workspace for initial validation. In parallel, the same PBIP changes, including the data set and the report metadata, are committed to the Git repository under a feature branch. After committing the changes, the developer raises a pull request to main branch. This pull request represents the intention to move the changes towards the production. As soon as the pull request is created, the CI, the pipeline, automatically starts. At this stage, the DataOps Suite test cases of what we have, the pipelines, including the dataset rules and report rules, are automatically triggered. These test cases are run against the UAT workspace, validating the report and dataset behave as expected. Once all the test cases are complete successfully, the reviewer or the lead validates the result. If everything looks good, the reviewer approves and merges the pull request into a main branch. After the merge, the CD process syncs the repository with the Microsoft Fabric, and approved changes are automatically deployed to the production workspace.
Hey Pradeep, your screen share is not.
In summary, this workflow enables that every change is version controlled and automatically validated in UAT and reviewed and then safely promoted to the production with a very minimal manual interventions. This is about the CI/CD process.
Pradeep, your screen is not visible.
Okay, so next one, this is on the Power BI Analyzer. We have done a few enhancements in the Power BI Analyzer. So we have introduced a few key improvements here, like a slow visual analysis, or the nested measures, right? So in slow visual analysis, in a real Power BI environments, teams often don't know which visuals are actually slowing down a report. A report may feel slow, but identify exactly which visual or measure causing the issue requires a manual investigation. Okay, so I just now talked about the slow visual analysis. So now we'll go to the measure dependencies, the nested measures. The measures are frequently built on top of other measures, make it difficult to understand the dependency or assess the impact of a change. I will briefly explain this and then move straight forward into the demo. Once all reports are analyzed, we calculated a page and a visual render time for every report. Each visual loads are a different speed and we capture them automatically. So here you can see the render time, right? Yes. So if a visual takes longer than expected, it's highlighted in red, making it easy to spot a performance issue. So this helps answer a very common question of why visual is slowing down my report. From here, you can drill into the visuals and review the DAX or the data source to understand why it is slow. At the dashboard level, at the summary level also, we also show the top slowest visuals across the report, along with their average render time. So teams can prioritize the optimization. So the next one, the nested measures. In real scenarios, measures often depends on other measures. Sometimes several measures level deep. Today, understanding these measures dependencies is very difficult. Here, we provide a clear apparent child. If I go here, yeah, here you can see a parent-child hierarchy and make it easy to see which measure is impacted when a core measure changes. So this significantly improves the impact analysis and change the confidence. So next, we'll go to the global recommendation, the final one. So now here you can see a reusable recommendations and the validation once and apply them across the reports. This includes a benchmark checks and a custom rules. For example, if a user want to validate for all the visuals, my font should be at 10. Right? So you can store it as a custom recommendation, and you can save and update. And if you go here in the global settings, you can see that is saved, and you can click on it. And once you have applied, so whatever we have in the recommendation, bookmarks and custom recommendations, all these recommendations will be analyzed and will show the report in the visual analysis. This is about the new enhancements in the Power BI Analyzer. We'll go to the next one. So this is about hidden filters. So when we compare a report during upgrades or the regression testing, right? So filters play a critical role in determining the data differences. However, many reports contains a hidden filters that are not visible to the end users, but it is still impact the data. So across the environments, these hidden filter values often changes, which can result in false mismatches during comparison. This makes a validation noisy and forces teams to do a manual investigation, the differences that are not actually meaningful. Right? Maybe I'll quickly show it how it is going to say it. Here, in upgrade component, you can see the properties in get filter differences. So here we have included the hidden filters as well. If user feels that these hidden filters should not impact the comparisons, they can simply unselect the hidden filter and apply can changes. So once if I apply it, so then in comparisons, then the run only on the selected filters, avoiding unnecessary data differences. So in this result section, you can clearly see the differences are displayed the category wise, making it easier to understand what exactly changed. Yeah. So with this, we'll go to the. So we are seeing the upcoming platform of futures. Right? So in the upcoming platform futures, the first one, it's talked about the AWS Bedrock. So it enables a generative AI capabilities through AWS Bedrock, complementing the existing Azure AI Foundry support with flexibility across a multiple foundation models. So the next one, the schema drift and impact analysis. So the proactively that detects the schema changes at the database, the table, or the column level, and clearly shows the downstream impact on data flows on the data models. So the next one is the enhanced pipeline results view. So this provides a detailed task level pipeline execution view, like how we have on the no dependency pipeline. And the last one is the automated delta identification in data compare. This automatically identifies the repetitive or the unchanged failure between the previous and the current run, helping the team focus only on the new or meaningful data. We quickly see the product features as well. The first one, it's a impact lineage view. So this provides a clear visibility into how a model changes impacts the downstream table measures and report on pages and at the visual level. This helps team to make safer changes by understanding the impact upfront. So the next one is the benchmark component. So this capture and persist a historical snapshot of data from a run of the independent of the session. This enables a future comparison by reusing the benchmark data against the fresh runs for accurate validations. So the next one talks about the BI catalog. This provides a centralized, a high-level view of all the BI assets across the reports and dashboards and the worksheets, improves the visibility, ownership tracking, and faster decision making across the BI environments. Coming to the data contracts, this defines, enforces the expected data structures across the multiple sources and versions and prevents the pipeline failure caused by the schema. And the last one is about the observability dashboard. So it delivers end-to-end visibility into a data health from ingestion to insight. So helps proactively detect the issues before they impact the business reports. Yeah, this ends to our session. Thank you, everyone. Over to Pooja.
Yeah, thanks Pradeep and Syed for sharing a powerful session on our product updates. However, we do have a few Q&A section. Let's take them up one by one. So first is there a particular format for the mapping doc, or can it be flexible as per organization standard?
Thank you, Rohit, for that question. Very good question. The mapping document allows you to import whatever format and whatever flexible format that you have as per your organization standard. You can put it. The expectation is that at least the columns that are meant to be there in the source to target mapping, which is like the source column, the transformation logic, or the target details, are mentioned in the document. But if there are across, say if you're putting it in Excel, if they're across multiple sheets, and if there is a reference, even that works. But whatever the tool interprets is then finally available on the mapping tab of the mapping manager. So we have the source target in the mapping tab. So you can go to the mapping tab, look at how the tool has interpreted your input file that you have given, and then you can alter it and modify it according to your needs. So say if you feel that there is something missing or something has to be corrected, you can very well do that and then move on to the generating the transformations. I hope that has answered your question. But if not, you can feel free to reach out to us. You have my email ID, sayed.gaz@datagaps.com. More than happy to walk you through a detailed session.
Okay, thanks, Syed. Our next is this workflow locking available on regular workflows as well?
Again, a really good question, Dayakar. Thank you for asking. In what I believe you are referring to is the data flows. Yes, not only from the mapping manager data flows that get created, but also the data flows that you have on a regular data flows. Those data flows also you can definitely lock it. So any data flows that you have created directly through the mapping manager or directly created with using the data flow feature, you can both lock it and unlock it. The user alone can do that. Yeah.
Great, thanks. Last question. Let's take it as a last question. Do you have any plans to support in-quarter application with BI Validator?
Yeah, let me explain. Yes, in Quarter support is on our roadmap for the BA validator. And it's something we are actually evaluating based on the customer demand and the technical alignment.
Okay, great. Shall we take up one more? How does a CI/CD pipeline change the way Power BI reports are tested and released?
Yeah. So a CI/CD, a pipeline ensures every change is version controlled, automatically validated in UAT, reviewed through the pull request, only then deployed to production. So this results in a faster releases, and it's a true DataOps suite, actually DataOps discipline, like for the Power BI.
Great. Thanks for answering for all these questions. There are a few more questions in the Q&A section. However, we'll take them up offline and we'll answer them through mail. And if you have any other questions, you can contact us at datagaps.com or contact with your account managers, and they can definitely align one demo of our new features for you. Thank you, everyone, for joining this webinar.
For further questions, feel free to reach contact@datagaps.com. Scan the below QR code for free demo. Thank you.